while others has maintained that Oshiomole wanted Nnamdi KANU to be sentenced to death. Hear what Akpabio have to say and what Akpabio concluded on the whole matter. It will shock you. Watch the video. I'll be back.
When you invited Senator Abaribe to speak, you went on to reinforce the sentiments expressed by Senator Abaribe. Abaribe is not of APC. And so any attempt by anyone to distract us from what is obviously a national issue is a disservice to our collective desire to stand firm together and find a solution to what is clearly a national problem that has been there for over 20 years. Mr. President, I am not ashamed to affirm that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing his best. Correct. He's doing his best. That we have not yet there doesn't mean that he has done anything knowingly, whether by negligence or lack of interest. Under your leadership, Mr. President, you have encouraged us to approve not once, not twice, special supplementary budget to support our armed forces arising from the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Those requests were not meant for the armed forces to buy ice cream. It wasn't meant for them to do tobola in military nightclubs. They are meant to strengthen the armed forces, to re-equip them, to give them access to acquire modern technology, and to train, and even now, directive to recruit more men and women into the armed forces. Therefore, there can be no question that President Tinubu is doing his best. In moments like this, the devil can come in and make us so confused that we might turn against ourselves and then, by default, allow the enemy to behave as if he's happy at an upper hand. However, what I think we should do, which under your leadership, even in your statement, you have already encouraged us to come up with such suggestion, is in the light of what we now know, what can we begin to do differently and contribute those ideas to support the executive initiative? One there, for example, is, and you amplified it, even in greater details than any one of us in this house, when you revisited the statement by the governor of Kebbi State. Nigerians are entitled to know, and it is no longer national secret. The commander of that area who ordered that those men be withdrawn, it is to be a national secret to be kept within military cycle. Nigeria should know the name, and the person should be brought to justice under the Terrorist Act. Number two, Mr. President.
Is it the view of the Senate that the issue you just canvassed now, that should form part of our prayers?
Yes.
Those who support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That is taken. Yeah. We will form part of our prayers.
Mr.
Yes,
President, under your leadership, we have passed laws that impose death penalty on terrorism. This parliament is on record as having done that. Mr. President, I am troubled when, after all the efforts that security agencies and the prosecuting authorities have to invest to secure conviction, because unfortunately the state cannot behave like a mob. So you have to prosecute, follow due process. I am troubled by the conflicting judgment by various high court judges. When the law says, act of terrorism, if convicted, shall attract death penalty, no judge has a right to pronounce less than that. It is only when you have implemented the law, interpret the law, not the sentiment of a judge, the will of the people as conveyed in a law, then the president can decide if there are reasons for him to do so whether to commute or to reduce. How can an offense that carry death penalty, a judge reduce it to 20 years in prison? That is not acceptable.
But
he has violated the laws passed by the parliament. Number
so,
3, sir, and this will be the last.
Has that happened in Nigeria already?
It has.
That
somebody convicted of terrorism was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
No.
Pardon?
No.
What was it?
No, not saying no. Not saying
no. Can I be allowed to land?
The civil senator, you have,
Mr. President, that is the leader of Assad. They have a group.
You have 30 seconds.
A terrorist group called Assad.
You have 30 seconds to land, but please be guided.
Okay.
Let's concentrate on the issue in discussion.
I will be guided. Because we have to look at a holistic solution. Because these are sentiments that confuses our people. For example, somebody allegedly kills someone who came to attack him on his farm. And because he killed in self-defense, the man was sentenced to death. But there is no evidence that those who have come to attack farmers and kill farmers, there is no evidence that they have been so convicted, sentenced to death. These are some of the issues we have to deal with so that nobody is given any excuse to misunderstand what is clearly a national challenge. I believe that President Tinubu inherited a situation that was already so complicated that no one of us, if we were to become president, can decree insecurity out of existence overnight. But we can begin to mobilize discernible action. We can begin to re-examine some of the discontent, but also call on the security chiefs. I am sure my colleagues here, you listen. When the Chief of Defense Staff said there is what they call war economy. That is to say, there are officers who may well be making money from this crisis. And that is why the issue of accountability, even on the part of the armed forces, is now a requirement that our relevant committees should be able to work on and ensure that we do not have saboteurs in the army or those who don't want the crisis to end, such that, we keep appropriating money, people are getting richer, and more Nigerians are being wasted. But I conclude by saying, all of us must commend the president for what he has been doing. If you see his face on television, you know that the president is not sleeping. What we need is our collective wisdom to reinforce his own limited wisdom, because nobody has monopoly of wisdom, so that together we can find a holistic solution. This situation calls for national unity. It calls for collaboration. We must not talk as Christians or as Muslims. We must not talk as Northerners or Southerners, Easterners or Westerners. It's a national challenge, and we need a national solution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Prayers are multifaceted. What is happening internationally also affects us here. This renewed strength of the insurgents is as a result of the statement by the President of America that he will come in and strike to remove them. So what they are doing is also very political. They want to see how they can cause as much insecurity as possible so that it will encourage America to come in and then remove the government for them. Because as far as they are concerned, what they want is government. They are not interested in the lives of the people. So as we are speaking here, we should realize that removal of government affects, in quote, both sides. I don't like to use the word both sides. So people should not think that there is any side to insecurity. There is only one side. And that side is the protection of Nigerians. And the second aspect is that we must rise up collectively behind the leadership of the country. The president must be encouraged. We must rally around the president to do his best to minimize and stamp out insecurity and make Nigerians to sleep well. You can see in a day, you can have up to 4 or 5 of these things. I just mentioned that even yesterday night. So it's not something that the same community that those children were returned, they've gone there to go and kidnap 11 people, including a pregnant woman. So we must realize that we are under attack. We are under attack. And so we can't feel safe here. To remove withdrawal of policemen, yes, for certain VIPs, they could be replaced with the civil defense. They are still armed, but not police. Police must go back to their constitutional duties immediately.
Sometimes one can wonder if this guy truly wants the progress and the unity of this country, or they are just there making laws without thinking. Oshiomole has raised a concern after judge has given a final verdict on sentencing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment. The sentencing alone has triggered a lot of reaction coming especially from the southeast, bringing up unrest in the country and all other. Considering the unity and the progress of this country and a lot of insecurity going on in this country, one should think that the lawmakers should have the interests of the masses at hand and go about whatsoever that will bring peace and unity in the country. Oshiomole has argued that the judge does not have the right to tamper with the law that has sentenced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death instead of life imprisonment or 20 years imprisonment. Do you think that this is going to bring stability? Do you think that this judgment and the Oshiomole's concern is fair enough for the interest of the people, especially from the southeast and Nigeria as a whole? Many are already seeing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's judgment as a well-orchestrated effort to incarcerate him. Anyways, these are reactions that are coming up from different angles. What do you think?